What is going on, everybody? First of all, happy Friday and welcome back to episode 6 of the Friday Night Knicks podcast. Unfortunately, Donald, we will not have any basketball tonight as Wednesday was the Knicks' last game and pretty much everybody's before the All-Star break. Obviously, you have the All-Star festivities this weekend, the three-point contest, the skills competition, the Rising Stars game, the dunk contest, and the All-Star game, obviously. But what I can say is we're very happy about our Knicks right now. We'll obviously get into it. We'll do some awards, player awards, mid-season awards, and we'll also go through the games that we just watched. Donald, what are your thoughts, man, on this Friday evening?
I'm missing the Knicks already.
Yes, I am.
What about you? I'm missing the Knicks already, man. But I'm optimistic for the second half. Well, second half of the year. We've already played like 61 games, but for the rest of the year, I'm optimistic. And yeah, I'm excited. I think this team can get in the top 6.
Yeah, definitely. I think the Josh Hart acquisition helped a lot, obviously, and he was a big factor in the Nets game and in the Hawks game as well. Finally, it seemed to me, Donald, like obviously we'll get into the recap stuff. The Knicks closed out games much easier with Josh Hart. That's definitely a big thing. Hart is basically, you could call him a jack of all trades. He's very good defensively. He's very strong. He's very tough. What's going on, MH? He's very strong, very tough, can hit from three-point range. He can pass a little. He's like that, as I said, jack of all trades, and he's a Tibbs guy. And finally, we're not having this debate which guy is a Tibbs guy. You know, does Tibbs like this acquisition? The front office and Tom Thibodeau mutually agreed that this was the guy to get, and we did it. So couldn't be proud.
I love the Josh Hart trade. I love it. I loved it from the minute it happened. He's the ideal Knick, man, because we appreciate hard-nosed players.
Of course.
That's exactly what he is. He's a hard-nosed player. He works as hard off the ball as he does on the ball, so it'll help the spacing. He's awesome at cutting to the rim. He's a good three-point shooter when left open. Excellent defender. Elite passer of the ball. That's underrated part of his aspect of his game, man. He's a really good perimeter defender. And, I mean, what else? I mean, and the elite rebounder. He's the best rebounding guard for his size in the NBA.
6'4".
Number one. 6'5" and below. He is the number one guard with 8.5 rebounds per game.
He's just been a complete godsend for the Knicks. Obviously, credit Leon Rose. Great trade overall, but we got to get into this Nets game, Donald, and for the first time in at least 3 years, we beat the Brooklyn Nets finally. It only took 3 years without Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, but you know what? A win is a win. What are your takeaways from this Nets victory? I know you were spending part of Boys in the Gap on Monday watching the game, and I was watching it too. So, what are your thoughts on that game?
It was a Jalen Brunson show. Jalen Brunson was absolutely off the hook. Craziness. It's actually absurd that he's not an all-star. It is actually absurd that he's not an all-star. I mean, like 40 points. He only missed like 5 shots the entire game. Insane. I just don't understand, man. He had them, and they're a good defensive team. They've got really good perimeter defenders, man. Right through their roster. They've got Bridges, good defender. Finney-Smith, good defender. They got all these dudes, and Brunson cooked them, had them for dinner, had them on toast. And, but for some reason, he's not an all-star. Absolute nonsense from the league. Total nonsense. Jalen Brunson, just all-star, best player, freaking god, king, you name it. He has been it this year. He's been freaking incredible. So, yeah, I mean, he's a star of the show. But then, to be honest, it was a team effort.
Yeah.
Everybody played pretty well. And Josh Hart, again, was just absolutely
27 points off the bench.
27 points. Are you kidding me? I mean, so good. So, I mean, my attitude has completely changed with the Josh Hart trade because it's ideal because, they were teammates of Villanova, him and
right.
Jalen Brown. He's got a relationship with the coach, as you say. He's got a relationship with the front office, as you say. So it's had a seamless fit. And he's the type of dude who just wants his intangibles to be appreciated. And because he's bounced about around the league a little bit, because I don't know if there was an ideal fit for him until he's coming. This ideal fit for him because, as I say, New York fans really appreciate the nuts and bolts, the X's and O's, every aspect of basketball, and the things that don't necessarily show up on the stat sheet. If you work hard, New York fans will appreciate you, and that's exactly who he is. And so I really think that Josh Hart is an ideal acquisition.
Already a fan favorite of mine.
Opinion Sports here, Brunson a dog, 100%.
Yep. Absolutely criminal that he's not an all-star at least. And I said this last show, I'm going to say it again. If he's not most improved player, I don't know. I don't know. There's something wrong. And somebody brought this up.
And guy H. Donald doing double duty.
Yeah.
Man. Always working.
Yep. And there's another thing. Interesting question. And somebody said this on Twitter. Do you think that the NBA is purposely holding out Jalen Brunson out of the All-Star contest because of the tampering?
I think it actually has more to do with Adam Silver making sure that like all areas of the United States are covered. I think all kinds of teams and geographical areas are covered. Get more guys involved. Get more eyes involved in the All-Star game. I think that is what it is rather than anything to do with tampering or whatever. But I think they wanted to get some of maybe the smaller teams involved.
Yeah.
Get more fans to watch it. It was clearly a decision from up above, though, because
of course
you can't argue to me that the coaches aren't watching, coaches around their league aren't watching him absolutely cook all their defenders and then go, no. No. Of course, he would have made it otherwise. I think I think there was a little bit of collusion there from the league to make other players get an opportunity.
Right, of course. I just don't understand it. MH was saying can't have two Knicks All-Stars. That's too much good press.
Yeah.
The last time the Knicks had two All-Stars, you got to go back to 2013 with Carmelo Anthony and Tyson Chandler. But again, it stings. It stings. It absolutely stings. But Brunson, you know what? He's the guy that will take this as some sort of motivation. It's going to piss him off when he's on the court, and he's going to beat the shit out of defenders because you saw him making buckets over Deron Sharp, Mikal Bridges, guys with long arms, like 6'7", 6'8". He can beat anybody, bro. It's like he doesn't have some crazy speed, some crazy burst, crazy first step, but the footwork is absolutely awesome. Nobody can beat his footwork as a guard in the NBA, in my opinion. At least, and none that I can think of right now. Just absolutely unbelievable.
No, his handles are insane. His footwork is just elite. It's sick. Actually sick. I mean, that was always been one of the things that would really drew me to him when he was in Dallas. But now it's just on another level now. Like, dude is legit.
It's also crazy efficiency. I mean, you mentioned it. He only missed like 4 shots against the Nets. No, 6. 15 of 21. And from downtown, he was 6 of 9. I mean,
40 points on 21 shots is stupid. It's actually stupid.
And he was never – the thing is, in Dallas, he was never this crazy great three-point shooter because, he was basically the mid-range guy who could go into the paint. He's expanded to his game as all 3 levels now. He could score from all 3 levels, which helps out the Knicks spacing. So
100%. I mean, remember, he was shooting about 30%, 35% from 3 for most of the year, and now he's just been going off the hook, and now it's up to 40%. Now he's having a legit, really good year from behind the arc.
Yeah. I think he's shooting around like 40, 41%. I'm going to check that out right now. Brunson is shooting 41.
41. My God. What a guy. Not an all-star, though.
Some reason not an all-star. Yep, his handles are sick. Brunson should definitely be an all-star. Obviously, unpopular opinion sports is a Nets fan, but we can all mutually agree.
Popular opinion sports in this podcast.
Yes, he is. Brunson always gets to his spots. Completely agree. He always knows where he needs to go. Obviously, there's some critiques. People critique, he doesn't pass the ball enough, this, and this. But I think he makes the key passes. That's what I think. And I think when the Knicks are struggling on offense, like he orchestrates it properly. So MH says we need the side hat, Donald. I guess like that. All right, guys. Also, 10 in the chat. Hit the like button, subscribe. We are 88 from 1,000.
Woo!
And we also have tomorrow a Daniel Jones video coming out with Alex. He's going to talk about whether Daniel Jones deserves $37 million a year, because that is a hot topic for some reason. Also got bingo cards. Yes, I got to agree with Donald here. A little off topic, but no. Also got Boys in the Apple on Monday. Bingo cards. If you want to win free merch, hit me up, hit Donald up, hit Alex up. Bingo card. I can make them. I'll send them to you. And if you win bingo, you get free merch from us. Long sleeves, hats, T-shirts, all different stuff. But this Nets game was really refreshing. I thought it was an awesome victory. Isaiah Hartenstein also had a very underrated game on the boards. He's been something special. I don't know. It's just you said it's something clicked with him. That it's like he's so unreal. It's like before January, we were like, trade this guy. He sucks on defense. He's a traffic cone. Now he's in the paint constantly, grabbing offensive boards, scoring in the paint, passing a little bit. Like, he's now the player that we imagined coming over from the Clippers.
Bro is low-key, like, having a really nice run these last month.
Yeah.
He's been a monster on the boards. He's been a menace protecting the rim. And a couple of putback dunks, and he's just working very hard and doing a good job. He's improved in terms of keeping his man in front of him, because earlier in the year, his footwork was a little slow. He was caught flat-footed a number of times, but now he's doing a much better job of competing. I think he's a lot more comfortable in the system, and he's doing exactly what Tom Tibbs wants from his five. Maybe I think what it was that he just wasn't an automatic fit into his system.
It took time.
No, exactly. He's more of a dude that likes to set high screens and use his passing ability and things like that. But Tibbs just really wants a rim protector.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah, and I think Hartenstein was having to get comfortable just doing that. And I think we've finally seen that. And he's done that. And I'm surprised because, for a long time I was like, oh, God, we really miss Mitch Robinson so much. But now we're not necessarily. Like, we're doing fine.
No. We're 12. I looked this up because I think Clutch put this out. He had a video today. 12-10 without Mitchell Robinson. I think it was the first game without Mitchell Robinson. The Knicks gave up like 130 points to the Hawks. It was like, oh God, this is a bad sign for things to come. But the team's adjusted, and they've adjusted well. Hartenstein's found his niche. Jericho Sims has been here and there. But for the rest of the game, Emmanuel Quickly was also very good off the bench. Julius Randle, didn't shoot the ball very well. 7 of 17 from the field. But you know what? With Julius Randle, and I've learned this a lot this year, and we're obviously going to get into our players and what we think and all that. He finds a way to impact the game instead of if his shot's not going down, he's going to impact the game with his passing, his rebounding, or whatever. And that's what I like about Julius Randle this year. He's a lot more focused. His head is on his shoulders.
Yeah, I mean, I think Johnny Bryant has a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
Johnny Bryant traveled to Dallas, sat down with him, obviously gave him some hard truths and motivated him. And Randall himself, you got to give him credit, man. Like, he's turned over a new leaf, and he's just very focused, and he's just an all-around good dude. And he's playing his absolute ass off every single night. The amount of responsibility he has still. And he's just every night, man, he's working. He plays crazy minutes, and he's tailored his game to fit a point guard now. and he's just he's already credited Brunson's arrival for his game improvement, and that just speaks volumes to Julius Randle. This dude is our only All-Star, technically, right?
Yes.
He's now our 2-time All-Star, and he doesn't have an ego on him.
No.
He's credited his improvement to Johnny Bryant and Jalen Brunson. And he deserves credit, but he's not seeking the credit. And, he's not seeking the limelight. Like, he's just happy just to do his work and get the dub and then go home. And then I like that attitude, man. He's not, he's just a different dude. He just seems to be a really good teammate, which he wasn't necessarily last year. And he's just, he's picking dudes up when they need it, and he's being a good leader. And you have to give him credit for that. And I certainly respect that because, I was as tough on him as any fan last year. I was furious with the way that he handled certain situations. But if he can turn over a new leaf, then I'm more than happy to show myself and say, you know what? I was wrong. This guy can actually play with a point guard. This guy is able to tailor his game, and this guy is able to be number 2 on a legit, really good team. And that speaks volumes for him. So real credit to him.
I just want to get to a few comments on Popular Opinion Sports. Says, I respect Brunson. I'm not a Knicks fan, but I do have a soft spot for the New York City teams. I think the Knicks have a coaching problem, and RJ Barrett needs to be better. I said preseason the Knicks would be a 6th to 7th seed. Well, to be honest, on Popular Opinion Sports, I said the Knicks were going to be in the play-in. And this, to be honest, we'll obviously get to that later, further exceeded my expectations for where this team is at right now, considering the roster, considering everything else. So on Jacob, yep, head in the game, definitely. Got to give the Knicks credit. Brunson's an amazing player. So I think we're going to move to the Hawks game. Another team effort and a blowout. So what were your thoughts on that game?
Oh, yeah. We schooled the Hawks, man. Trae Young. I thought he was a Knicks killer, right?
No, he didn't kill anybody.
He can't kill anybody. He was absolutely useless. But that's the thing about this Hawks team, man. I think that there's something going on in that locker room, right? And they're very much a team that if they go behind, I think that they're ready to pack up and go home because I think that they don't really like their coach.
Yeah,
I don't think they like Trae Young very much. I don't think Trae Young is the most popular figure in that locker room, from what I understand. From what I understand, him and the coach don't get on either. So I think that what the Knicks did by just bombing them at the start pretty much secured the win because, I think the Hawks are the team that if you give them a life, then their talent's going to finally show through and they'll compete and win games and stuff. But if you beat the pants off them in the first quarter, I think that if you give them a good hit, they don't get back up off the canvas. I think they're that kind of team this year because of the internal problems. Now, unless they turn it around over this All-Star break, I don't know. But they don't overly concern me. I think they're a good matchup for the Knicks. The Knicks are more physical. They're more united. They play harder. They fight every possession.
Play defense.
And they're starting to play defense now, yeah. And they've actually got some perimeter shooters now, which they didn't have in our playoff matchup with them. So it's actually a good matchup. And now they've got someone that can cook Trae Young. And Jalen Brunson had Trae Young on absolute toast.
So he had DeJounte Murray on toast. Like, he did an amazing step-back 3 off him. Like, okay, it's like Jalen Brunson's undefeated. Like, so much for worrying about trading for DeJounte Murray or Trae Young and all that. I don't care about the Hawks. They're small. So blowout victory. I thought it was another team game. Julius Randle wasn't the most efficient from the field, but you know what? When it came to the third quarter, he was really backing down guys in the paint, and he was getting offensive rebounds. He was getting the N1s, and he was really cooking them in the paint. They basically had no answer.
Hartenstein as well in that game.
Yes, Hartenstein.
Great against the Hawks.
Yes, Clint Capella was basically a non-factor. Onyeka Okongwu was basically a non-factor. Quickly was shooting from 3. Josh Hart had 13 points off the bench, was expected. Obi Toppin had 11 points off the bench. So things are going well when Obi Toppin's scoring. Hartenstein, we obviously talked about his role. Grimes,
Armstein had a monster block in a Conway, remember?
yeah, and you know what? Also, it was I think it was towards the end of the third quarter. Trae Young tried to be smart. He did. Hartenstein was not facing Young because Young was ready to inbound, and Hartenstein is back to him. Young throws the ball off his back. Hartenstein looks and blocks his shit. I'm like, you know what? I gained a lot more respect for Hartenstein for just doing that alone. I'm like, you know what? He's too small, man, and he's a foul hunter. Which I'm sorry, I don't respect that. I don't respect Trae Young. I don't respect him as like a superstar. He's probably
I don't respect his game.
No, he's one of the most least efficient. He's one of the least efficient scorers as a star. As a perceived star in the NBA. The man's shooting like 42% from the field and like 30% from three. So I don't respect his game.
And he's one of those dudes that even though we're still hunting for that technical star, that regardless of the Brunsons being a baller and all-star and stuff like that, but if we were offered Trae Young, I would reject it out of hand.
Never.
Absolutely nothing to do with him. And it's nothing to do with him being an asshole to the fans or anything like that. I just don't think he's as good as people make him out to be. Like he's good, but he's low efficiency. He's he's not an efficient player. He doesn't play any defense at all. And he's temperamental. He's a bit of an asshole. So I don't know. I don't think he'd be a fit in New York.
Never.
And so, yeah, like there was rumors that, the Knicks might be in on Trae Young if he asked for a trade. No way, man.
Nope, not at all.
Nothing to do with him.
Never. So, Donald, if you want to flip through some comments real quick, MH says,
Let's go. Hawks are whack. I agree, yeah. MH. When the Knicks are attacking, they are dangerous.
Yes.
Amen.
A team that's not below 500 you don't have a star. Exactly. Likes up, people.
Cheer up. Yo.
Subscribe as well. And then MH says, I'd take Bradley Beal before Trae Young. Interesting. Yeah, I think I would take him too, but Bradley Beal is, I think, started to be on the decline of his career.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. So great team win again. We head into the All-Star break, 33-27. We are the NBA's 6th seed. Now, where do you want to go to next? You want to go to player awards? You want to talk about the state of the team? So up to you, man.
Let's go with how about we go with grades? Let's go with our grade. And this is obviously just off the top of our heads, unless you've written it down. But
I've not.
Let's go with our grades, and everyone else in the chat, fire in your grades for the players too, and we'll see if we match up. So
all right.
I'll pass it to my co-host here, Luca. What is your grade for Jalen, the All-Star Brunson?
A plus 1,000. I mean, this. First of all, you could actually make a point, Donald, that this guy's really being underpaid. I'm not saying, I'm not actually saying, calling out Leon Rose or anything. It was a good signing at first. Be like, okay, well, the Knicks got their point guard and all of that, but for him to be playing on this level, and it's great that he has a 2-man game with Julius Randle and all. It's just like, what more could you have honestly asked for at around $26 million a year? What more could have you asked for out of Jalen Brunson?
It's actually a steal of a signing. You're spot on. A plus, man. He's cooking dudes. He has changed. He's changed everything. He's just added life to this organization. He's added life to Julius Randle. He's just been a dog and just disgusting handles and footwork and mid-range game and a threat from three. And yeah, he's just doing everything, man. Just doing everything. So A plus, wonderful signing. Everyone else in the chat, go fire in your grades. I'm sure it's probably going to be the same.
Throw them in, guys. Throw them in.
Yeah, throw them in.
This is not limited to just us. So Jalen Brunson, I got to go to a player who's definitely proved me wrong this season. That player is by the name of Julius Randle. I'm giving him a damn A. He deserves an A. Maybe even A plus. A plus, to me, it doesn't make a difference. I mean, from the season he had last year, first of all, you said it on one of the podcasts. You said that his game and the shots he were taking 2 years ago was not sustainable. Now it's more sustainable because he's sticking
Exactly.
to his strengths. He isn't doing that baseline fadeaway as much, but he's going in the paint. He's making threes when he needs to. He's passing the ball. He's not being selfish. He's again, as we talked about a few minutes ago, he has his head on his shoulders. He seems much more reserved. And what else could you more ask for a fan base, whether it was justified or not? In my opinion, it was justified last year, not so much this year. That basically, they were hunting him. They're like, get this guy out of here, get Obi Toppin in now, and get Julius Randle out of here.
And he's turned it all around as we discussed, and his stats are awesome. So I am more than happy to give him an A. I mean, 24.8 points per game, 10.8 rebounds, 4.1 assists, 46% from the field. Very good numbers. From three, he's been solid, almost 34%. Very consistent numbers all the way around, like 22, 14, and 6, 30, 10, and 3, 31, 6, and 2, 18, 10, and 4, 25, 11, 2. I mean, the numbers speak for itself. The dude's been an all-star, is an all-star this year, again, much deservedly so. And as you were saying, I do completely see a different Julius Randle in terms of sustainability, because the threes that he's taking are open in rhythm. And he's taken the advantage of the fact that he's got a size matchup advantage over basically anybody he goes into the paint. He is a beast. Unless you take on like a Giannis or an Embiid, he's got the beating of you because he is that strong. He is just a beast of a dude. Like, he's physically strong. And I just didn't understand why someone that physically imposing was settling for fadeaway mid-range shots when if you just get to the paint, which he's got the handles to do, and he's got the speed and the footwork to do, get in the paint because it's much easier to score. And he's doing it this year. And his shooting percentage is up, and I think his efficiencies are up, and he's just generally a better player in my opinion. So yeah, give me an A for Julius Randle.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with an A as well as I obviously put down, but I think my official consensus of what I want to do with Julius Randle is gonna come after the playoffs. If he plays really good and his head is on his shoulders and he can show he can play in crunch time, keep him. If not, I think the Knicks can move him, but I think we have to revisit that conversation. That's not a conversation I'm having yet. I'm not shipping Julius Randle off right now, and it's better if we don't. So obviously have that.
I think he's here long term, man. I think Toppin will be moved.
Yeah, Toppin's going to be moved. That's without a question.
Sorry, at the draft. I think by the draft, I think he's probably going to be moved on, and it'll be Randall's show. We have to pick a decision. We have to make a decision either way, and that leads us to Obi Toppin. This is more of a difficult one. What was your grade, Obi Toppin?
I'm gonna honestly throw a C his way. C. Because that's honestly, that's for me right in the middle. Because again, he's more of I'm not going to say he's completely unproven, but he shows flashes, but he just doesn't get enough playing time where you can see, okay, this guy is really good. Oh no, this guy's really shitty. So it's difficult, man. Again, I don't like to lament on this too much or go back on this, but I think the Knicks were better off trading with a deadline. Obviously, they have a higher standard of, what the package they want for Obi Toppin is. But I don't know. I just don't see a future for him in New York. And I don't think anybody does.
No. So obviously with his minutes being limited, the only thing that we can do is look at how his numbers are averaging this year as opposed to years prior.
Right.
So his 3-point shot is at a career high, 35%. It was 30% his rookie year, 30.8 last year, and it's down to 35.1.
All right.
So
that's around league average.
That's good. That's very, very good, in my opinion. Okay, everything else is kind of in line. His points per game was 9 last year, but his minutes were better last year. He had
Yeah,
17.1 minutes last year. He's down to 14 this year, which is it's an embarrassing use
it
of
is
such a matchup.
embarrassing.
It really is.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, that's the thing with him, man. So it's hard to judge. But when I see him in those 14 minutes, he looks damn good to me. He's hitting threes. He's a beast in transition. He's athletic. He's working hard on defense. I think like his defensive numbers in the 14 minutes that he plays are pretty damn solid. So it's a weird one. He's not played bad. So I'm gonna say a B minus for Obi Toppin.
Yeah, definitely. His box plus minus, I'm looking for the advanced metrics, is
Okay.
actually about the same as his rookie season. His
All right.
his defensive box plus minus is better than it was his rookie. Well, actually worse off. But to
Oh,
me, like I think I think he's better than his rookie season when it comes to defense. Obviously, the shooting's better, but to me, obviously, you can add more in this game. But I think there's a problem where I bring this up again, where I don't think he's being put to to his strengths where he can succeed. Like when was the last time besides the Hawks game where you saw him take an alley oop lob? Like nobody's passing to him. Like oh my god, it was the Jazz game where Obi Toppin was cutting to the basket. RJ Barrett's like
ignored him.
everybody was pointing at him. Donald, everybody was pointing. Hartenstein, Hart. You know who else was on the floor? So I think it was quickly. I'm like, oh damn it, pass. But
RJ just ignored him completely. He was jumping up and down. He's like,
it's like, hey,
and RJ's like, nah, I'm good.
but
Just ridiculous.
I'll give him the benefit down. I'm gonna go B minus. I'm gonna keep it a B minus. So
I'd like this is the age of positionless basketball,
yes,
and he's a dude that can hit a spot up three. He's a dude that can do that, and he's a dude that can play in transition. I wouldn't be adverse to giving him minutes at the three, as a same positionless basketball. You can do that. You can find a way of playing the two of them, him and Randall together, but he just doesn't do it. For me, in the limited minutes that he shows, he looks a little bit more. He looks a lot more comfortable in the system than RJ Barrett does, without a doubt. So you know what? I can't really blame him that
I can't
his
either.
numbers are bad and his usage isn't that high because Tibbs ignores him. So I think like a B minus C plus.
Yeah, I gotta leave that too. Again, I just hope he succeeds somewhere. He seems like a very selfless guy. He's
Yeah.
always passing to his teammates. You know, he isn't the best defensively, but he tries. The effort's there. That's all you can ask for. He's not to me. He's not in the category of Kevin Knox or Frank Ntilikina of Knicks draft bus, but he's a guy. I don't think he was put in the right situation. Unfortunately, he was in a win now team where Julius Randle came about 2 years ago and potentially 2 years ago, Julius Randle could have been traded, but Randle went for his most improved player. And again, you really can't blame anybody for that. But I think from then on, Obi Toppin should have got more minutes. I'm not saying he should replace Julius Randle in the starting lineup, but again, I would like to see more lineups with Obi Toppin and Julius Randle together, whether it's a small ball lineup, Obi at the three because he can shoot, all these different things. And I think Obi could help, and like he could do the little things as well, in my opinion. It's just not a very beneficial situation for him.
No, I'd like to see him being a starting four.
Yeah.
And I think he'd do well, man. I think he'd easily average 19, 20 points per game as a starting four. Whether it's here or elsewhere, that's up to the decision makers. I think Randall's a better player. Will always be a better player than Obi Toppin, so you're probably gonna keep Randall. That means you need to make use of Obi Toppin's value. He's liked around the league, I believe.
No, I believe that.
I believe he's got some value, and I'm a tough critic, and I like him genuinely. I think he's a good player too. So yeah, we'll settle on B minus C plus, whichever way you want to go.
Yeah.
Right. Next up.
I was going to say our most confounding player, and I have a lot to say about this man. The third overall pick from 2019, Donald's least favorite, RJ Barrett. Dude, it's
F. Absolutely F. 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 Give him an F. Fail.
F plus. I mean, I'm kidding, but overall, it's like some people were saying this, and TK was saying this on Twitter. A good buddy TK, he's like, you know what? I wonder if it's something off the court with RJ. Maybe this, and he's not making excuses. He's just generally asking a question because TK has actually, along with us, been one of RJ's best, biggest critics, as MH with the laughing emoji. But what has went on with RJ Barrett this year? Like everybody says, like, oh, RJ Barrett's the third option. He needs to be the second or first option. Well,
Can you imagine?
I can't imagine. To me, Donald, if I'm being completely honest here, and it's not transparent,
Completely transparent by any chance?
Yeah, by any chance. But to me, this kind of I don't know if you would agree with me on this. I watched a video on this recently, and I started making these connections. You think this is some kind of Andrew Wiggins to Minnesota situation?
I think he would benefit from going elsewhere. I really do. I do think that he would benefit from that. I'd like to see him in another situation where they could make use of him. And I think he'd be fine in a situation where he's not the third option on a team that has two primary ball handlers. Like
Right.
the fit just doesn't really suit him.
It doesn't mesh.
No, it doesn't. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. But he's been legitimately. Let's just face it. He's been bad. He's one of the worst defenders in the NBA.
He's one of the lowest officiating scores.
Yeah,
lowest efficiency. One of the lowest efficiency. MH says it could be because he broke up with his girlfriend. Still not an excuse. I mean, even if it's that, I'm rooting for RJ Barrett. I will say this again, and I hate calling out fans. That's never what my operative or my objective. But there's a lot of people on Knicks Twitter who will not have an objective conversation about RJ Barrett because we could talk about how RJ Barrett, was not played to his strengths, this, and this. He's the third option on a winning team behind Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson. He should have been the first option when he was drafted, this. But he individually, Donald, as a player, has not improved one bit. You don't have to look at the stats for this to be the case. Look at rookie year RJ Barrett. Look at now for RJ Barrett. Has he improved his three-point shooting? No. Has he improved his finishing, his post moves, up and unders? Do you see any of that? No. Do you see his defense improve? His defense improved in the first year with Tom Thibodeau. I'll give him that, but it's been a decline since. Obviously, his efficiency has not improved. He is a guy who will need at least 20 shots a game to get his points.
Yep.
But what else? He's not a good passer.
No, he's not. I mean, he's in the 28th percentile in passer rating. So that he's actually one of the worst passers in the league. His true shooting percentage is in the 28th percentile. So he's not an efficient scorer. He's averaging like 23% from three in his last 10 games. He's 41% from the field in his last 10 games. There's some serious problems here, man. He's in the 6th percentile in crafted defensive plus minus. So I just did an article on what Josh Hart adds to the Knicks, and I was using RJ Barrett as a comparison. Right. There is no comparison. Let's just call it what it is. I mean, Josh Hart is a much better player for what the Knicks are asking for than RJ Barrett is. RJ Barrett is kind of devoid of confidence. His overall defensive Raptor rating, which you can find on 538.com, is -7, which puts him in the bottom 11 players in the league. He's in the bottom 11 players in the league in defensive rating. And I mean, that kind of says it all, doesn't it?
It does. It definitely
So yeah,
does.
that's
Like,
why I put him as an F. It's not that I'm a hater. It's just I just have to call it as I see it. The dude looks lost.
you got to be completely, again, we're objective on this channel. We're objective on this podcast. For all the people say, RJ Barrett doesn't get touches. For the last 2 years, 2021, 2022, this year, 2022, 2023, he's had the two highest usage rates in his career. Last year, 27.6. This year, 25.9. His defensive box plus minus is the worst of his career at negative 1.9. His box plus minus is the second worst of his career at negative 3. So he's a net negative every way you look at it, whether it's the scoring, whether it's the three-point shooting. You can look at all facets of his game. Oh, he improved his free throw rate. Cool. His free throw percentage. Cool. His field goal percentage. Cool. But it's like, what's our standard for a third overall pick? Like, you got to ask that question.
At least starting level player. That's what I'm looking for. And you can't argue to me that he's a starting level player with those numbers, those efficiencies. The reason why he's got 19 points per game is purely because of the amount of shots he takes. He actually takes more shots than Jalen Brunson a lot of games. And that's just ridiculous.
I'm going to look this up because it's actually prevalent. RJ Barrett is averaging about 16.3 shots per game. It's always been in the teens, obviously. He took 17.1 shots per game last year. So let me look up Brunson. Right now, Barrett's is 16.3. Brunson's is 17.7. Barely a little bit.
Not that much more. And
Barely.
That's an all-star. That's an all-star. So that's what I'm talking about. So you got an all-star who's incredibly efficient, who's taking 17 shots a game, Jalen Brunson. And you've got one of the least efficient players in the National Basketball Association taking 16 shots per game.
Again, it's the truth. There's obviously ire towards RJ Barrett, but there's also relative concern. It's like, how the hell is this possible? How has this game gotten this worse? MH says, what should we do then? To me, there's also been takes out there that have said, you are throwing away the rebuilding process you're throwing away the building through the kids process if you bench RJ Barrett. No, you are actually holding somebody accountable and saying your game is getting worse. Maybe, you vibe with the second unit better. Keep him on the bench. Now, here's what I say. After the All-Star break, you give RJ Barrett you keep him in the starting lineup. But if it continues to get worse, you either shorten his minute count or B, you put him on the bench. Because to me, Josh Hart's a fit for the bench, obviously. But unless dire circumstances push come to shove, he's going to have to be in that starting lineup sometime soon. And again, and some people confuse this on next Twitter. If you're pointing out the bad for RJ Barrett, you're rooting for his downfall, which I think is absurd. But we're just pointing out what we see. We're objective here. So I just don't understand, what. And I love to know this as well. What's classified as RJ hate on Twitter? I'd love to know what's classified as that. So I can
any objective criticism. They were saying that in the Hawks game he wasn't necessarily that bad, but there was one
second half was worse.
Yeah, he was really bad in the second half. But there was one particular possession where he went round in a circle, dribbling around a guy in a circle twice round. It was kind of like if you're on a roundabout, driving on a roundabout, and you go round and round and round and round and round and then leave.
Yep.
That was him. He went round and round and round in the arc and then sent an off-balance contested hook shot that wasn't even close. And his three-point shots are actually more of a threat to hit the Atlantic than it is the
He airballed two of them. He airballed two of them against the Hawks.
Yep. So that's why he's getting an F for me, man. He just looks bad. And you have Quickly's playing out of his mind. Josh Hart is playing out of his mind. Got Obi Toppin, who's desperate for more minutes, and he looks good when he plays. And you can't tell me that RJ Barrett deserves 40 minutes a game when these dudes, when Obi Toppin gets 14. And he's far more efficient. Crazy.
again, we agree on this grade. Like we even said prior to the season that, well, you had a different expectations, or you had different, predictions of what RJ was going to become this year. You said he was going to be a solid, good player. I said he was going to be an all-star, and that's gone to shit. But again, it's not wrong to expect him to be an all-star in his fourth season. This is year 4, by the way. Year 4. You
With
should
a
see
massive extension. Very nice, pretty extension.
It's not his fault that he was being dangled in trade talks, but still, come on, man. Like, just take off the orange goggles, people, and see this guy is not good right now.
And I heard that he disappeared. I think it was the Brooklyn game that he just disappeared.
Yep. Nobody said anything about injury. Nobody
No.
said a goddamn thing about injury. So I think there's something wrong behind the scenes. I'm not going to suspect what it is. I hope it gets
We
resolved.
saw the clip, and for some reason, fans thought it was awesome. When remember when he completely bricked a shot, and it was like 10 feet wide, and he turned around and joked, "Oh, Tibbs is going to send me to the bench again," and everyone thought that was hilarious. And I thought, no, I don't think that's very funny. I mean,
He doesn't have the right to joke about that.
No.
I'm sorry, he doesn't.
What have you earned in your league to be mocking Tom Thibodeau? Dude's a legit coach, whether you like him or not.
Yeah, it's weird. It's the RJ Hive's out of control. Like Clutch was saying this on Twitter too a few weeks ago. He's like, you know what? I can't even look for legit Knicks fans. All the Knicks fans I see on my timeline are RJ stands, and you can't really have a debate with them. I'm sorry, you can't. You cannot have a debate with them. In RJ, again, I hope whatever behind the scenes is resolved by the end of the All-Star break, so he can keep playing well, and it just only makes this team better to have him be the third scorer and the third reliable guy in case Brunson or Randall don't perform. But it's just not looking good, man. It's just not looking good. Not whatsoever.
I just don't like the fit in that starting lineup. I love Josh Hart in the starting lineup. He's a perfect fit for what we're asking him to do. I think RJ Barrett leading the second unit would be absolutely fine. He's a dude that likes to get downhill. He likes to drive to the rim, and he's one thing that he's good at is getting fouled, getting foul shots. His free throw percentage is up. So I would use him to lead off the second unit, get his shots off, as many shots as he wants leading the second unit, and I think he'd be a better player. But if you're asking him to be a third scorer in a starting lineup with 2 all-star scorers that are all ball dominant, and you're asking him to be kind of a ball dominant scorer, kind of lost in the shuffle, you're not getting the best use of him. And then that's why he's bad. So let's move on. Let's get another.
I just want to acknowledge Jeff's comment. What's going on, Luca and Donald? How's the day going? Going good, man. Going good on this Friday. Always love your takes. Just heard news on Kamara. It's all allegedly. So why write it? I got to look into that afterwards. I think he was convicted. He was convicted for a robbery or something like that out of Vegas. I'm not sure. But to our next player, I think we're going to keep this in the starting lineup. Quentin Grimes. How do you grade him?
Well, he's his overall plus minus is like the second best in the entire team or something like that, or it might be the best. He's B plus, A minus, maybe an A minus. He's been a wonderful player off the bench for us.
So let me look at his box. He's actually averaging 10.1 points per game. We know he's a 3-point shooter, very good, obviously. Box
defense has been phenomenal.
It's been, there's nothing you could argue about that, but the one thing that's taken a hit over the past couple of games is his shooting. Maybe he figured maybe it's one of those sophomore slumps, so I think I'm going to go with a solid B, in my opinion. Donald's going to go with the B+, which I don't mind. It's a reasonable grade, but I think the Quentin Grimes B, it's not deterring him. It's just he's been on a little bit of a slump lately. That's why.
I think he's actually played really well, but
it's more about the shooting. It's not so much about.
Wait a minute. I was thinking of Emmanuel Quickley. I'm sorry, I was lost. Right. I'm talking about Emmanuel Quickley. I thought you were talking about Quickley. A minus for Emmanuel Quickley. Quentin Grimes. I think he's more of a C plus actually.
All right.
B minus maybe.
Yeah, he's definitely struggled the last few games. It's like sometimes when he gets into those catch and shoot situations for threes, he does not set his feet, and that's been problematic. Sometimes he tends to foul too much. Like there was a certain stretch of games where he was earning flagrants, he was being too aggressive. Obviously, he has to tone that down a little bit, reel it in. But I'm going to give him a B minus for right now. I think that's
Yeah, I think
more of he started off the year really well. Obviously, when he was inserted as a starter, the Knicks really got really better. I think they, ever since that rotation switched, the Knicks are like 11th in defensive rating and 5th in overall net rating, which is really good. But the B minus speaks to the last few games. It's not a whole summary, but it's concerning a little bit. You hope it's just a sophomore slump and he could rebound. And
yeah.
hopefully he has fun in the Rising Stars game. And unfortunately, he's going to be coached by Joakim Noah, as we all you love him as a.
No, I mean, I really like Quentin Grimes. He's one for the future. I love that he doesn't need the ball to be effective. I think he's a perfect wing. Good defender. His 3-point shot will be there. I trust that. I like that his handles are improving. I think he's just getting a little tired out from the fact that he's had the responsibility of handling the opposition's best defender, best attackers, best scorers, basically all year long since he's recovered from injury. And I think he's getting a little sophomore slump. So I think it'll come around. I think he's actually a clutch shooter for us. So
I would agree.
I think B minus is pretty fair.
Yeah, definitely. He's one of the Knicks' better shooters out there. Obviously, I hope he has fun in the All Star weekend, but I also hope that he gives himself a rest. Hopefully, comes back on a clean slate. Been very positive on him ever since he was drafted. Let's go to Emmanuel quickly, as you said. You're going to give him an A minus.
Yeah, everything that I said, just transfer over to Emmanuel quickly. Don't know why I was daydreaming there. Yeah, Emmanuel quickly A minus.
Yeah, I gotta agree. Everything has stepped up in his game. His defense, he's one of the best He has one of the best defensive ratings in all of the NBA. He's become a better scorer. He's more versatile scorer. He doesn't just like in his rookie season, it was either a floater or a long three. Now it is 3 points, a 3-point shot, mid-range shot, or a layup or a floater. Like he can create off the dribble. He's good defensively. He can reel himself in whenever, he has those moments of he plays out of control, but he can reel himself in. I've been very positive on him. And to me, I think he also should be in contention for Sixth Man of the Year.
I think so too. I think he's now able to score on all three levels now. He can get to the rim, get fouled, get knocked down free throws. He's good free throw shooter, good 3-point shooter, decent mid range. His handles are improving. He's able to distribute when asked, and his defense has been just locked down, phenomenal. So he's an absolute beast in transition too. He quickens the pace, quickly quickens the pace, which is good too. So no, I think he's an A minus is fair.
I think Josh Hart, the addition of him alongside quickly just strengthens the bench defense and the transition play. They can all play fast.
Fearsome, man.
Yeah. So just a little stat right here quickly with his floaters. He's obviously taken the least amount in this year of his career, 113 this year. Those are 18.9% of his field goal attempts. His effective field goal percentage has gone up about 6 points this year to about 51.3. And here's another stat. This is pertaining to his defense. On defense, though, is quickly where he shined. He's got the best defensive Raptor rating of his career. New York's defense has been 11.4 points better per 100 possessions with him on the floor than on the bench. And he has been one of the league's most effective pick-and-roll defenders. According to Second Spectrum, opponents have averaged just .868 points per play when Quickly's man has been the ball handler in a pick-and-roll, the second-best mark among 88 players who have defended the action at least 500 times so far this season.
Holy moly. That's an awesome stat. Good job, my man.
Yep, I actually Schwinny posted you don't even have to look at the field goal percentage for efficiency, effective field goal percentage, and true shooting. They're like close to Jalen Brunson levels. So
yeah, craziness.
Phenomenal. Let's go with Isaiah Hartenstein.
So I think the last time we did a grading, I think I had him like a D plus. Now you can make the argument now he's a C plus or even a B minus.
I'm gonna give him a solid B. I'm
Okay.
actually I'm a little more higher than a solid, C minus or B plus. Just the impact, man. I think he's turned it around completely. He's found, as you said, it took time to find himself in the niche in the Tibbs system, and it's worked out. He's blocking shots. He's more mobile on defense. He's passing. He's in the paint. He's getting offensive rebounds. Are we still susceptible to those second chance opportunities? Absolutely. But you know what? We get our own as well because of Isaiah Hartenstein.
Now he's been great. What about Jericho Sims?
He started off the year really well, but I think he's taken a little bit of a decline. I think sometimes he gets into foul trouble. To me, he hasn't made a super impact over the past couple of games, whether that's positive or negative. He's the guy I would give that C plus.
Yeah, I mean, you could even argue about just a straight C or a C minus. His box score rating isn't very good, but I tend to like him. I think he's so athletic, and
Yeah,
I'm really excited for his future. And he's definitely someone I want to keep a hold of. He just needs more seasoning and work, but he's getting there, man. So yeah, let's call it fair and give him a C. Deuce McBride.
Defensive demon, we all know that. I think he is in the same category as Jericho Sims, or a bit lower, in my opinion. He just doesn't have an offensive game.
Yeah,
that's why he was removed. That's why Josh Hart was acquired. Yes, C minus.
I think C minus is probably fair for him. I like him, but there's been long periods where he's not really had any effect on the game. Apart from his defense is good, but it's such a problem offensively. I'm surprised his 3-point shot has been this off. It's one of his skills coming into the league. So, but again, he's someone I'm high on.
Of course.
So I think Thibodeau deserves credit for the fact that he gave him a legit shot.
Yeah.
So he's got upside. I like him a lot. I like Deuce. Incredible on ball defender. So yeah, I think that grade is fair for him. Mitchell Robinson.
Let's see. First of all, it's I think James Dolan said this. He's supposed to be back in about 10 days. February 27th, Monday, is a matchup against the Celtics. So hopefully, the defense gets better with him coming back. But I'm in the middle, kind of, because, at first you said it, they felt the loss of Mitchell Robinson, but once they got Hartenstein and Sims to play at a better level, it seemed like, I'm not going to say he wasn't there, but it's how much of an impact does he really have at all? He still hasn't improved his free throw shooting. I know it's a minor nitpick, but that's still a fact.
No, it is. Yeah, it's not good. He's an insane offensive rebounder.
Yeah.
Insane. And he's legitimately one of the best centers in the league in terms of rim protection. Top 10 centers in the league for sure. Rim protection and offensive rebounding, and just his general defensive IQ. I think it's right there. But his offensive weaknesses are something to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Terrible free throw shooter. It looks like he's
shot putting.
Yeah. Or it looks like he's aiming for the front rim when he's shooting, and it just looks like he's just going like that. And it's just,
it's flat. It's flat.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's flat. So weird free throw. I don't love it. I don't love his offensive game, but defensively, he's an absolute demon. And we're only going to get better with him back. Yeah, I'd say about B minus.
That's fair. B minus is my grade.
Is there anyone? Well, he's never healthy.
That's been his problem, and I said it. But you want to grade Evan Fournier?
Yeah. I like the guy a lot. Not the best player in the world, but I love his attitude. What, C minus, D plus? D plus, probably D plus.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a D plus. I think the game he had against the Sixers at home was like
So
wow.
good.
And I think you know what I love when a player is self awareness. He's like that game to me was a what do you say? It was a one night stand. That's what he
Yeah,
said.
it
And
was
I'm like,
fun, but
okay, cool. You know, this guy has he's like, you know, he's not like angry, pissed off, or whatever. He's not like an alpha. He's like, I know my role. I'm gonna be sitting on the bench the next game. Hopefully I get minutes. And I'm aware of that. And
yeah,
good for him, man.
I'm more than happy to say, considering how bad RJ Barrett is, and he can't shoot threes. Evan Fournier would step up in his, because it's not like RJ Barrett plays any defense. I'm sure Evan Fournier would be just as productive, if not more so, uh, with RJ Barrett's minutes. But yeah, it's a small nitpick.
Yeah, I think the Knicks will end up getting rid of him after the season, but they somewhat like him. His defensive box plus minus is actually a positive this year. I have no idea how, but that's
Wow,
actually better than RJ Barrett's.
holy
It's
God!
Donald, it's .1. Point
What?
one. That's his defensive box plus minus. RJ Barrett is like a negative 1 point something. But for some reason, his offensive box plus minus is a negative, which I'm not
Yeah,
sure I understand. Maybe it was like from the beginning of the year where he had really bad shooting spouts, but D plus, I guess, for somebody who's played such minor minutes.
yeah.
So I think we've rattled every single player off that is. Cam, you want to do Cam Reddish, or is that kind of a
No, no
no?
point.
What
Derrick
Josh Hart?
Rose. Derrick Rose. I mean, probably same reading as Fournier.
D plus. No
Yeah.
Josh Hart grading or too early.
A.
Yeah, definitely. I think he deserves an A so far. I think he's like an A plus. Like
Tom
he's
Thibodeau.
definitely
What would you grade?
um. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna put him in. I'm not gonna say no. I'm not gonna say an F or an A. I'm gonna go B to B minus. Honestly, there's like honestly, I'm a big Thibodeau critic, but there's been some things that he's done this year that have worked, like the rotation change. The Knicks are better defensively. The Knicks are better in net rating. So I'm gonna give him like a B minus. Again, I was actually a guy banging on the table for him to be fired, but I think Donald, like I think anybody, and yeah, if you're not saying this as a Knicks fan, I think you're just a negative person. Thibodeau has A, moved us forward, B, he has set the foundation. I think you move on without him after the season, but I think he's moved us forward, whether you like him as a coach or not. And that's me being one of his biggest critics. And I've said it, I want him fired, this, and this. I don't agree with his ideologies, this, and this, but he set the foundation. And we didn't really have a foundation about a couple of years ago.
No.
So we've only progressed.
I give him a B plus purely because I thought this team would be a 9th or 10th seed, and this team is probably the 5th best team in the Eastern Conference in my opinion. So I think that alone deserves a good grade. He's fixed the rotation, and the thing is, he just needs dudes that fit his system. If dudes fit his system, he'll win. Now, there's going to be a ceiling, and I don't think we're going to go too far in the playoffs, but you can't overlook the improvement in performances. Now, whether that's Johnny Bryant, but I think Tom Thibodeau is involved as well. I mean, Julius Randle's a better player. Jalen Brunson's an incredible player now. And the young guys are improving. Quentin Grimes has been good. Emmanuel Quickly's been good. You know what? I think Tibbs has got a good coaching staff, a great coaching staff. I love his coaching staff, actually. And I think that he's done a fine job. Now, he's not a good X's and O's guy.
No.
He doesn't when he's asked to design a play, he doesn't do it. But and purely in terms of having this team fight every single night, every single possession, he does deserve credit. And I think
he does too.
I think I'm more of a fan of him than a lot of Knicks fans, and I think I think he deserves a little bit of credit. So I'm going to give him a B plus.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to play this up the middle. I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to give him a B. I'm not going to give him a B minus. So I think we'll come to the middle on this one. Give him a solid B. So put him out there. We got Tom Thibodeau a B.
Leon Rose.
Yes.
Interesting. Now, Leon Rose is an interesting one.
Leon Rose. Let's see. Leon Rose. Let me type that up. What are we giving him?
Well, it's weird because obviously Donovan Mitchell non-trade was a fail. The RJ Barrett extension's a fail. But then the Josh Hart trade was phenomenal. And uh, signing Brunson, phenomenal.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I'm sorry, I was distracted with something, but you got to give credit to Leon Rose. We were all critical of the roster construction. Like me and you, Donald, have been the most critical of like all Knicks content creators. Like a lot of content creators have said, this is a really good roster, this, and this. But we've all said the pieces sometimes don't fit. But overall, I got to give him credit when it comes to like trading away some of the veterans. I don't agree with some of how they were traded for, or we talked about the Duran stuff and all that. I wasn't a fan of last year's deadline, but if you want to give me a grade for this season, the Josh Hart acquisition was on par. They finally meshed. We talked about it. We said the freaking coaching staff and the front office finally meshed. We're getting somewhere. There's progress. But BB minus?
yeah, I think let's settle on a solid B because the Jalen Brunson was a steal, actually, complete steal, and the Josh Hart trade I think is a steal as well. Um, I I would have drafted Duran. I've said that at the time. When we traded back in the first round and we then traded away that first, I was pissed because I wanted Duran. And then we let his rights go elsewhere. And I think that's a mistake because Jalen Duran is going to have a really good career, as you can see already. He's been balling out. And I wouldn't have extended Mitchell Robinson, and I would have allocated my finances elsewhere. But that's not to say I don't appreciate what Mitchell Robinson gives. It's just he's always injured, and I quite like Duran's offensive upside. And you can see that if you give Hartenstein serious minutes, then he's not that far off of what Mitch gives you. So, yeah, that was a mistake in my opinion. I would never ever trade away a first round pick. We're still at the talent acquisition phase rather than the phase to get rid of first round picks. So I
Right.
never agreed with that. But there was things that were wrong, which is going to hurt his grade. Extending RJ Barrett, terrible decision. But then the Hartenstein deal actually looks pretty good, and the trades look great. So yeah, give me a B.
Solid B. There we are with. I think we're gonna close that with the grades, but we got to go to player awards now. You want to do this week's awards, or you want to do first half awards? Because I have a lot of first half awards. Obviously, me and you talked about this.
Yeah. Obviously, because we've been talking for over an hour, I think maybe we save the NBA awards for maybe next Friday
We can do that Monday.
or Monday. Okay.
Monday. I'm gonna have them saved. So first half Knicks awards. My first award is play of the first half. Boy, do I have a lot of nominees that I downloaded.
Oh,
So
go for it.
play of the first half.
Well,
You're gonna
should we cut it to three? Three plays.
Okay, so you just want me to nominate three and then we'll select?
Yeah.
Oh, three random plays. Okay. I think I already have some in mind. So I think this is gonna be the one. Let me see. This is nominee A.
Let's go. Oh.
Nominee A. Jalen Brunson crossing up Alex Caruso in overtime against the Bulls.
Disgusting. Oh, baby.
What a way to close out that game. So that's nominee A. Just going to remove that real quick. And I'm going to pull up nominee B. Let's see. Here's another one. Now, we never, I don't think, elected this as a play of the week ever on our show. So I think this is worth looking at. Randall?
Oh, yeah. This is my house.
I love the angry Randall dunks.
Me too.
Love them.
Fishes. What is up, Jet Smash?
What's going on, bro?
Yo!
He's like, this is my house, bitch.
Yeah, this is my house. Boom. Do you have the one where he did that on Jason Tatum?
Against the Celtics, I can pull it up.
Pull it up, because that was a good one too. That might be one as well. You know what? Those were some really good ones. So
yeah, that's why I picked the two of them. So
why don't you fire some more of
all right,
that you have? Because
all right,
actually
sure.
a little more fun than
yeah. Let's see. I have. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out. Josh Hart steal. This was one of the plays that you wanted for play of the week.
The Knicks on an 8-0.
Yes, I love this play. Oh, very, very sexy.
That's probably for play of the week. Let me. Oh, that's right. You know what? Perfect. I've been third nominee, and here we go.
Finney Smith, as we said, is an excellent defender. Royce O'Neal, a really good defender.
Brunson looking Day'Ron Sharp look absolutely silly.
Yeah, that's pretty beautiful. Oh, man.
Let me try to find some others. Maybe they're somewhat minor in your opinion, but let's go back to game 1. I have 2 from the Grizzlies game. Cam Reddish is, even though he's no longer with the team, a game-tying 3.
Oh.
Brunson, inbounds to Barrett, back to Brunson.
Oh, that's nice.
So that's one of the nominees from the first game.
That was really nice. That was sick. Beautiful pass from. What an assist for Brunson! My God.
I couldn't find the Brunson charge from that game, but we got a Jalen Brunson block at the end of overtime versus the Celtics. Tatum misses the bank shot, rebound by Horford. He's like, get that shit out of here.
Get that shit.
Watch that again. Bank off the glass, misses wide. That's another nominee for play of the half. I'm gonna see if I find any more while Donald finds the play. This is one of our nominee plays. This is an iHeart dunk, but the ball movement is much more effective as to why this was nominated. R.J. Barrett hands to Grimes, back to Barrett, Grimes into.
Oof! Check my bad self.
All right. And then I think I have the Quentin Grimes 3. Yep. Let's pull this up. Barrett, Randall, Grimes, swish.
So clutch, too.
We talked about him being clutch.
That was one of the clutch shots of the year.
Let's see. We had that one. And then here's Jalen Brunson drawing a charge late against the Lakers. You could say basically this is a non-play, like compared to the others.
Like a high IQ play? Yeah, I kind of got you.
So let me see if I have any more. Obviously, the crossover Caruso, Josh Hart steal. How about this reverse layup from Julius Randle against the Philadelphia 76ers?
Oh, yeah. That was a nice play.
Let's watch that again. This was, I think, nominated last week. Touche. So I think those are my nominees for play of the year.
I've got the Randall poster on Jason Tatum here. So,
okay, I'll wait till the screen comes up. But what's going on to Mets? Everybody, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, do all the good stuff. Alex, tomorrow we'll have the video about Daniel Jones, if he deserves to earn $37 million a year. So we're going to have presentation, Donald.
You
All
got
you.
it?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Randall. Boom!
Absolute savagery.
That is savage. That is savage. All right, here we go again.
That's
Beautiful
the camera
passing.
angle.
Randall. Boom! There you go. I think that's a serious contender.
Yeah, definitely. I think that is definitely one of the contentions for play. As you said, 3 nominees. I've done a lot of plays. I've pulled them up. I think the Jalen Brunson crossover versus Caruso has to be one of them. I think the Randall Dunk, as you showed, has to be one of them. I'm debating between Jalen Brunson's Day'Ron Sharp crossover or Randall's dunk on Daniel Gafford.
I think Randall's dunk on Gafford is actually really nice.
I think that's got to be play of the year or play of the half.
Play of the year?
I think so, man. I mean, it's a debate because Jalen Brunson's crossover was so dirty. He did Caruso so dirty. It's like a coin flip, honestly.
It is. We might need help from the chat to.
Yeah, chat, help us out. Is it the Is the Brunson crossover on Caruso, or is the Randall dunk on Daniel Gafford in Washington? If you guys if you guys want me to share the video clips one more time, I definitely will. So I'm going to represent. Again, we're not officially nominating just yet. Here is Brunson's crossover on Caruso. Did him absolutely dirty.
Oh, yeah. Give me some of that. I also actually have one.
Okay.
That I bookmarked. I bookmarked this one because this one's a good one. This one's actually quite recent.
Okay.
Yeah, here we go. I'll just get the.
Then we got Alex here saying Brunson's crossover is a part of the intro for a reason. Exactly.
That's true. I mean, he is our MVP. Okay, let's share the screen.
Right. I just got to let it come up on my end.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Let's get this thing up here. Right, here we go.
All right.
Got it?
Yep, just there you go.
Do it again. This is pretty sexy. Boom, 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 boom.
He had Laurie on skates.
Look at this shit. Oh, fucking hell. That just makes you dizzy looking at that shit.
It does. It does. That's definitely going to be one of the nominees. So, yeah, we're going to nominate 3. It is tough, man. It is tough. So, again, chat, help us out. We got 5 in the chat here. Is it the Brunson crossover on Caruso for I think third? What was this? Our third nominee. The Randall dunk over Gafford. We obviously listed the Randall dunk over Tatum is going to be in there. So, what is the more impressive play? Because both are increasingly impressive. Both are like it's neck and neck.
It is. It is neck and neck. I mean, we're finding more and more nominees here that it's because these recent crossovers from Brunson are complete sickness.
Yeah. So just waiting on you guys, and then we'll reveal our 3 nominees, and then we'll choose our play of the first half. Because again, we find more and more. There's obviously some more awards after this. And then I think we'll get on out of here because, unfortunately, Donald, obviously there's no game tonight. Let me ask you this while the chat responds. What are you going to be doing with your time off from the Knicks?
Well, I'll get some articles out and continue to get some Knicks stuff out there. Some Knicks content for Last Word on Sports and Let's Talk Knicks. I'll probably do that in the article. So I'll get some Knicks stuff out there. So check out the Twitterverse. What about you, Luca?
I'm going to be watching Rangers hockey. I'm also focusing on draft prospects. I'm also focusing on NFL draft prospects. I already got a few that I've jotted down. I've made my own draft board, and I made a few I want to watch, few I like, few I don't like. So that's going to be fun. Obviously, with football season ending, we'll see where we're at with the draft prospects. I know prospect of the week is going to become a staple of our Boys in the Big Apple shows, but Alex wants Jalen Brunson's crossover versus Caruso.
What Alex wants, Alex gets.
Yes. What's going on, Tudo from Princeton? What's going on, man? Appreciate you joining us. Like, comment, subscribe, everybody, obviously, as well. So let's name our 3 nominees. Brunson crossover on Caruso. Dunk on Tatum. And I think we also got the I'm going to count as my 3rd nominee, the dunk on
Gafford.
Yes. So which one out of those 3 are you nominating for Player of the Year?
Well, I mean, obviously the dunk on Gafford was
insane.
Was absolutely vicious. I would have that, and I would have the Brunson crossover. Alex votes crossover.
We also got it. By the way, we also got another nominee. I don't think this is going to change your mind, though. I'm just going to have to put this out there. This is R.J. Barrett's dunk on Scotty Barnes. Again, I don't think it's going to change your mind, but I have one of the nominees I forgot to pull up.
Damn. Yeah, that was actually pretty damn good. Well, yeah. What's your final 2? Mine's Gafford and the crossover.
Literally same. Literally same.
And Alex is crossover. So should we go crossover?
Let's go crossover. So I'm going to put it up on the banner. The play of the first half is Jalen Brunson's crossover on Alex Caruso.
Let's do it.
Great. Let's share this now.
Ooh.
And it is also obviously a part of our intro for Friday Night Knicks.
On toast. Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Alex Caruso, for falling in that very moment. So got some other rather awards. It doesn't have to involve film or anything. First half MVP.
Brunson.
Got to agree. Comeback player of the year. I agree simultaneously. Hustle player of the season, as you made that award.
The hustle player of the season?
Hustle player of the half.
Yeah. A hustle player. I mean, Josh Hart, actually, he's only played 3 games, but my God, he's been good. Yeah, give me Josh Hart. I'm voting Hart for that.
All right. Let's type this in. Next award we have defensive MVP. I actually have I shouldn't say unsung because we've went over this player, but who is your defensive MVP for the Knicks?
Emmanuel Quickly.
Same. His defense is basically immaculate, so I got to throw him in there. Comment: which award does Quentin Grimes or Quickly get, if any? Obviously, we've just
got one.
Yep, defensive MVP. Well deserved. One of the best defensive ratings in all of basketball. Donald, you suck award, or otherwise politically correct least valuable player.
R.J. Barrett.
Unfortunately, folks, we will have to give this award to R.J. Barrett. LVP, you suck award.
You suck, R.J. You suck.
Unfortunate. We didn't. By the way, folks, we didn't want this to happen. This wasn't scripted. This is not scripted.
You suck award, R.J. Barrett.
Who is primed for
that needs clipped? This needs clipped.
Yep. We're definitely going to be clipping this. Who is primed for a good second half?
I think Josh Hart is primed for a great second half.
All right. So we are going to go with Josh Hart. Just going to quickly type that in.
He's already getting 2 awards. He's only been here a week.
Exactly. That's how much we love him already.
That's
He's
it.
a great
Told
time
you.
player.
Well, we love hard-nosed players.
Who is poised for a bounce back second half? Didn't have a great first half, but had it.
Quentin
Can have
Grimes.
a,
Give me Quentin Grimes for that.
I got to agree as well because he started off very well, slipped toward the end with his shooting and his defense. Obviously, sometimes a little too aggressive, but I think once his feet get under him, relaxes a couple days, he'll be better. So that's my guy, and that's actually our guy. Game of the half. What was your favorite game of this half?
Boston. The win over Boston. That was obviously one of the plays of the year was Randall posterizing Tatum, the comeback, Brunson's block, and then seeing it out in overtime. Crazy game. Best game of the year, in my opinion.
In the half, a 120-117 victory against the Boston Celtics. I have to concur. The worst game of the half. I think I know this answer.
Yeah. Well, it was actually the worst and best because if it didn't happen, the changes wouldn't have happened. So right. We live streamed this game, and it was the Dallas game where we got up by like 20 and then got the absolute doors blown off us.
Yeah.
And we lost by 20.
We just went AWOL.
Completely steamrolled. And it meant the end of Cam Reddish. It meant the end of Evan Fournier, Derrick Rose. It completely changed everything. And that kind of is what sparked us to end up where we are, like 6 games above 500. And at that time, we were a couple of games below 500. And things were bad. And I was upset and angry. And now it had to happen. So sometimes that saying, white man can't jump. Sometimes when you lose, you really win. And that was one of those games. So, yeah, but it was definitely the worst loss of the year. Absolutely unbearable game of basketball.
It had me fearing that I was going to go to the Knicks game the next day against the Cleveland Cavaliers, that Donovan Mitchell was going to whoop our ass. But we actually ended up winning that game to my surprise and to your surprise. Best individual performance. You're talking about a game. If you want, I'll give you some time to look up some box scores. Whoa, but I think I have one in mind.
A tough one, man. Because there's been several career highs from Jalen Brunson all in 1 year. But Julius Randle's had some insane games.
It's tough. It's really tough.
I think there was a Randle-Utah game in Utah where he went freaking bananas. Yeah, let me get the stats up. Why don't you give me your nominees, and then I'll get...
All right, so I got the game logs of Brunson and Randle up. I was going to nominate, even though it was a loss, I was going to nominate Brunson's 41-point game off of supposed injury against the Clippers, although we lost. But that performance was phenomenal. Obviously, it was right after Jalen Brunson was not nominated for an All-Star appearance. And that pissed him off to score 41-7. That's my lead nominee. Now I'll obviously look for more, but that's my lead nominee for now.
So in the win over Boston, Randle had 37 on 13 of 25 shooting, 5 of 13 from 3, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. That's a pretty big game. The one against Cleveland was actually better, and that was the day before, and that was 36 and 13 and 4. 8 of 12 from 3, 11 of 21. That's a contender because he balled out and destroyed Cleveland, and that win over Cleveland 105, 103, 36 and 13. That's my favorite so far. He was insane against Detroit. 42 points, 15 rebounds on 15 to 24. That was a crazy game right there.
Yeah. He also,
I'm trying to think if there's any other ones.
I think there's some background sound on.
Yeah. Okay, so that one was a good one.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, give me Randall's against Cleveland.
He also hit some clutch shots. I think it was like 100 all. He hit the game. He hit the go-ahead shot. It was a three-pointer. Don't know who was on, but I don't really care.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in line with you. That was a really good game from Randall, and I think that was.
But then you could also nominate most recently Brunson's 40 against the Nets, where we blew them out in our first win.
It's like so many good performances that are worth this award. It's tough. It's like you could choose a 1A, but you could also choose a 1B.
Yeah. I think considering how clutch that performance was against Cleveland and what was kind of on the line considering the Knicks' reputation as an organization after passing on Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
To beat Donovan Mitchell with Julius Randle going off, I'm going to give the award to Julius Randle.
All right, so my nominee as well is going to be Julius Randle's 36 point performance against the Cleveland Cavaliers, which led a victory against the Cavaliers by 2. Don't know the score. Doesn't matter. The Knicks got a victory.
105-103.
105-103. It was obviously a Donovan Mitchell block. Well, Mitchell.
Yes, it was that controversial block. Yeah.
I'm not sure if you want to look far for this, if you don't want to do the award at all, but this is the final one. Worst individual performance. That's if you want to do it. If you want to do the digging, you don't have to.
Have you got a nominee?
Whether I'm going to be called a hater and I really don't care, it's got to be one of those RJ Barrett performances. Like his performance against the Nets is a nominee. The Cam Reddish performance against the Mavericks is a nominee.
Oh, the Cam Reddish one against the Mavs. That might be the one because it basically cost him his job.
Let me see. I'm going to look through RJ Barrett's performance. I'm also going to look at some of the net rating.
He had a 6 for 16 game at one point. 6 for 21.
RJ Barrett against the Clippers, 6 of 21.
That's the one.
1 of 8 from 3, 14 points, and negative 20 from net rating.
That might be the winner.
And the next game, Donald, which is going to add to your point, he's also got a negative 20 game against the Hawks. It was that blowout. It was that kind of back and forth game. There's also the Wizards game, which I think we commentated on. It was 21 points, 9 of 21, negative 15 from the net rating, but the points will obviously make up for that. I think the Clippers game, because what I was going to say was the game after that, the Knicks came back and beat the 76ers.
But the Cam Reddish one, in fairness, cost him his Nick career.
Yes. Alex says, wasn't RJ like 2 for 7 on 4 points recently? Yes. Wait. I don't think it was 2 for 7, 4 points. Maybe he was talking about a certain half against Brooklyn. I know RJ Barrett.
He actually had an offer. Was that? It was like only like a couple of nights ago. He had an offer all the way up until the half.
Was that I'm not sure if that was against the Magic or the Sixers. Wasn't Utah? Wasn't LA? I don't think. I'm not totally sure, man. It's like so hard to judge because they don't obviously give you first half stats versus second half stats. You just look at straight at the total box score.
Yeah,
again, we're not box score.
Reddish game against
sealed his fate.
Yeah, I keep kind of circling back to that because it kind of changed everything. It was the exact excuse as well, which our guy Tibbs wanted in order to kick him out. Let's get that game up.
I got it. Negative 16 net rating.
Yeah.
0 points, 0-4 from the field, and 0-2 from 3. 1 assist, and 3 turnovers, and a personal foul. That's got to be the worst.
Yeah, that's really bad. I think that's the worst. There's no coming back from that. And there wasn't. And it was all in just 9 minutes. It was just that bad. Minus 16 in just 9 minutes. So, yeah, I think that's the worst performance of the year.
All right. Rating. Just going to type this in. Our worst performance nominated by the Friday Night Knicks podcast is Cam Reddish versus Dallas, December 3rd. against Mavericks. We commentated on that, and we were angry and pissed. 0 points, -16 net rating, and that sealed his fate as a New York Knick. Did not play one single minute for the rest of his time in New York. But with that being said, obviously we'll keep our NBA awards for Monday's Boys in the Big Apple. Donald, your final thoughts. And
well, let's quickly look at the All-Star festivities. And,
I was going to do that. Yeah.
Who is your pick to win the 3-point contest?
First of all, let's look into who is. I have this bookmark. Don't worry. We got the 3-point contestants here. This is for all the contests. The 3-point contest. We have Damian Lillard, Jason Tatum, Kevin Huerter, Tyler Hero, Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, Julius Randle, and Lauri Markkanen.
Give me a final 3 of Dame, Tatum, and Tyler Hero. The reason why I don't have Halliburton is because his shooting motion is a little like he needs time to get it perfect. So in a situation where you just got to fire it off ASAP, you need the smoothest, most in rhythm shot. I don't know if that suits Randall necessarily.
No.
Markkanen, I don't think either.
No.
Huerter. There's always going to be one dude where you don't necessarily expect to have a great one. So that's why I'm going to go Hero, because he's a very good 3-point shooter and he's nice rhythm, nice stroke. So give me those 3. And the win will go to, I have a feeling Jason Tatum maybe, but give me Dame Lillard. I would love to see Dame Dollar win that.
See, I was going to say Buddy Hield, but he already won one a few years ago, so I'm going to go Dame Time.
I would, Hield I wouldn't discount. He's an absolute assassin.
We have the skills competition.
Okay.
This includes you obviously got Team Antetokounmpo, Team Jazz, and Team Rooks. You got your rookies. You got some veterans as well. You have Giannis. This is Team Antetokounmpo. All 3 brothers, Alex, Thanasis, and Giannis. You have Team Jazz, which includes Jordan Clarkson, Walker Kessler, and Colin Sexton, all members of the Utah Jazz. Team Rookies, Jaden Ivey, Paolo Banchero, and Jabari Smith Jr.
Well, I think the final will be the first and the last guys, but I'm never, ever going to count against the Giannis guys because they won the last one. So
I'm taking Giannis for the carry.
Yeah, give me Giannis.
Yep, I'll take him too. Our slam dunk contest. These participants include KJ Martin from the Houston Rockets, Mac McClung from the Philadelphia 76ers, recently signed, by the way, Trey Murphy III from New Orleans, and Jericho Sims from the Knicks. But Shaedon Sharpe was set to enter the contest but decided against it in February. He could have very well won it if he did not decide against it, Shaedon Sharpe. But
what an underwhelming. Remember we used to have like Dwight Howard,
Jason Richardson,
Carter, and then Jason Richardson, and then Nate Robinson, and what has happened
Blake
to them?
Griffin, Zach LaVine.
Oh my, Blake Griffin, insane. Zach LaVine was remarkable. It sucks because I always love the slam dunk competition. It's the one thing that I get excited for, and this lineup is so underwhelming. So let me think. Knick guys always do well in the dunk competition. So I think Jericho Sims is going to make the final.
I'm just going to plug this in right here. Yeah, I think
Jericho Sims makes the final, but only he wins. It's between Trey Murphy and KJ Martin. I'm going to go
KJ Martin better because KJ, because like if it was a final nominee, it would be Sims versus Martin, because Martin had kind of reminds me of Kenyon Martin, his dad. And he had a
Yeah.
lot of animosity throwing down dunks and all that. So,
Yeah, give me KJ. I think all the Rockets have to play for is someone to do well in the All-Star competition. So give me him. I think he's going to win.
so the winner for our dunk contest winner is going to be KJ Martin from the Houston Rockets. He will. Did Kenyon ever win a slam dunk contest? What's going on, Booyah? Get Yanks. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, man. Appreciate you. We all accept all NBA fans here, but I don't think Kenyon ever won one. I don't think he ever won a slam dunk contest. I could be wrong. I'm gonna look at his resume.
I can't remember the top of my head, but yeah, I think Martin is actually a very athletic player.
He's
I like
explosive.
KJ Martin. He is explosive. I've seen some of his monster dunks and highlights during the year, so I think he's going to do well.
Yep, I don't think as I looked up, Kenyon Martin was never a slam dunk contest winner. He was an all-star, obviously, but that was his days with the Nets. Regardless, I think that's going to clean it up for our awards. And do you want to quickly do keys to the second half for the Knicks, or do you want to just close it up?
Who do you think is going to win? Which captain do you think is going to win?
I mean, for the All-Star game, to be honest with you, I really don't care about the All-Star game, but I'm going to look up the teams.
We need to figure out where each captain is going to put each guy, so it's impossible to know because that is decided during the All-Star event, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna try to look up this year's All-Star game, 2023 in Utah, out of all places. So starting for the Eastern Conference is Kyrie Irving, Donovan Mitchell, Giannis, not Kevin Durant, unless he actually plays. If he's healthy, I don't know if he is, maybe he is.
He's not.
And Jason Tatum. That's the Eastern Conference. Western Conference, Steph Curry's not playing. So it's Doncic, Jokic, James, and another vacant spot because Zion is not playing.
Yeah, all these guys that are hurt or backing out sucks.
By the way, I'm sorry to interrupt. Embiid was selected to start in place of Durant. Ja Morant was selected to start in place of Stephen Curry. And Markkanen's going to start in place of Zion Williamson.
Yeah, give me the East. I think the Eastern Conference has that.
Again, if you want, we could go through reserves, but I don't think that's really needed. I'll just detail the rosters anyway. For the reserves for the East, it's Jaylen Brown, DeMar DeRozan, Tyrese Halliburton, Drew Holiday, Julius Randle, Bam Adebayo, Pascal Siakam, and let's see.
How did Siakam make it, man? He wasn't even that good this year. He's fine, but he wasn't as good as Brunson.
Yeah. Yeah, I think those are that's it for the Eastern Conference. Western Conference, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander taking his game to another level this year. Damian Lillard, Paul George, Jaren Jackson, his first nominee, Domantas Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox, and Anthony Edwards. I don't think I'm missing.
Really excited to see Dame Dollar play in an All-Star event. It's been a while through injury and all these things, so I'm really glad to see him.
Yeah, he deserves that. Give me the Eastern Conference. Give me Team Giannis. So that, I think, will do it for if you want to go over takeaways for the second half. What do you think the Knicks?
Well, I think my takeaway for the second half is for the Knicks to do what they're doing already. Use the game plan that they've been using these last couple of nights to beat up on the Hawks and the Nets. I think that Josh Hart is going to play a big part in what we're going to do for the rest of the year. The key really is keeping Brunson and Randall healthy. Keep them on the court, and this team will, I think, could get the 5th seed. Why don't we do just one more thing? Okay. Last prediction. Where do the Knicks finish? I'm going to go
NBA seeds. I'm going to say.
Let me know the whole NBA seeds, but just the Knicks. I'm going to say Knicks 5th.
Ahead of the Knicks right now, the Cavs, put them in 5th. I think the Nets will eventually they're not going to fall apart, but they'll go into the play-in. Outside of the top 4, it's honestly a wide open conversation.
It is, yeah. I think they can get 5.
Number 5 will be the Knicks, 6 will be the Heat, and then so on and so on. The Knicks will stay top 5, and we'll be happy. We'll live happily ever after as Knicks fans. But Donald, final thoughts, and obviously next week we'll actually have a game to talk about.
Final thoughts. Let's go Knicks, baby. Thanks everyone for tuning in on the chat, and we will see you again soon.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you guys for all coming out. Subscribe to all the good stuff. Alex will have a video out tomorrow about Daniel Jones on whether he deserves $37 million per year. You'll see his answer in the video. Obviously, got bingo cards. If you guys want to win some free merch, purchase made by our guy Hey Is. All you got to do is ask for a bingo card, and we'll give you the bingo card. Get to win free merch if you win bingo. Hats, hoodies, shirts, long sleeves, short sleeves, all that. Boys, the Big Apple Monday. It's pretty much wide open. We'll do our NBA awards for the first half. Don't know what else will come up. We are also 88 subscribers from 1,000. Guys, let's honestly get there. Help us out. Share this out. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you, Tudo, for the kind words. You're always a good supporter here. Very loyal. And we will see you guys later. Have a good night. And have a good weekend. Peace out, y'all.